How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Hello and welcome to, or welcome back to Mystery Inc. My name is Richie, and today I'm bringing you another book haul for the month of April. Now, last month I said I wasn't planning to buy any books this month because I was a little bit behind on things financially, didn't have a lot of extra income. I did end up getting a small bonus at work for a big project that we had back in February. So that was a nice surprise, and some of my expenses turned out to be a little bit cheaper than I was anticipating also. So I didn't buy anything super crazy, but I did do a little bit more thrift store shopping, so I'm just going to show off what I picked up today. So not all of these were thrift store purchases. There were a couple of things that I bought online, and let's just jump right into it. So the first book that I picked up this month was The Beast. This is one of R.L. Stine's standalone novels. It's about a real life roller coaster at where's this park? Is it Indiana Beach? I think that's where the real life roller coaster is. I know I was there when I was quite young. I know my dad rode this roller coaster, but I was too scared to ride it at the time. I was a pretty little kid, but yeah. So this is supposed to be like about a haunted roller coaster, something like that. Sounded really cool. Seemed like it would have maybe fit into Fear Street. I haven't read it yet. I'm looking forward to reading this at some point. It's not currently on my reading list of books this month. Probably, maybe we'll get into it in May. Maybe not. Might save it for a later date. But yeah, I like roller coasters. One of my favorite video games growing up as a kid was Roller Coaster Tycoon. Obviously, I've been to the amusement park where the real roller coaster is, and it just seemed like a really cool concept. I know there's a sequel to this as well. I have not picked it up. The cheapest copy that I saw online was at like Thrift Books for an acceptable copy, meaning probably poor condition, was like $15, I think. So keeping my eye out for a copy of that. I need to read this one first, see if it's any good before I decide if I want to pick up the sequel, but I probably will at some point. All right. Yeah, these are just kind of all mixed together, so let's just go into most of these here. I think are all thrift store purchases, except for, I'll mention if it's not a thrift store purchase, but I picked up one more Agatha Christie book. This is The Third Girl. Yeah, not really sure what this one's about. I didn't really read the synopsis or anything. I just saw it at the store and snagged it. Slowly adding those to my collection over time. I need to actually read some more of them. I've only read, I think, 3 of her books at this point. I also grabbed myself a nice hardcover copy of Holes, which I got for like $1. Really crazy. I remember reading this book as a kid, and I absolutely love the movie also. This was one of those early Scholastic books that I picked it up at a Scholastic book fair that really jump started my love for reading alongside Goosebumps. There was another book called The 13th Floor. I think it was. I still have that on my bookshelf somewhere, buried underneath my movie collection in another room. But yeah, I wanted to get this to revisit it. I loved the book as a kid. Didn't know what happened to my childhood copy, which turns out I still have, and I found it like 2 days after I bought this, but it was only like $1, and it's a nice hardcover copy. So picked up Holes there. I also grabbed a copy of The Three Musketeers. Now, I've seen at least one of the movies that, the story's based on, but thought it might be fun to have around. I don't know if this is the kind of thing I'd read for the channel or not, but yeah, it was something I picked up. Another book that doesn't really necessarily fit with the channel theme. This is a more adult, like sci-fi novel, Timeline by Michael Crichton. This is a book that I remember seeing my dad read when I was a kid, and I ended up picking up. I read it for myself, and then I watched the movie. I remember the book being better than the movie, but I don't really remember much about the book. I remember the movie because I've seen it a couple times, but wanted to give this a reread, and I remember it just being a fun like time travel sci-fi adventure set in like medieval times. Up next, I already showed this off in a different video. I'll just show them again real quick. I got the first 3 books in the Fright Factory series. This is a relatively new middle grade horror series, in the same vein as, Shivers and Goosebumps and Crow Files and all that. I got the first 3 books. There's currently 3 books in the series. The 4th book is coming supposedly sometime this month or next month, I think. Well, actually, I know it's coming this year. I don't know if it's this month. That one also seemed really cool, about like a haunted golf course or mini golf course or something like that. So that's on my list of things to read. I'm planning to read this first one, Trapped at the Creepy Carnival, or Trapped in the Creepy Carnival, relatively soon. I need to finish Your Dot book first, the second book from the Crow Files, and then I don't know if I'll read this next or if I'm going to read another Goosebumps Series 2000 next, but you'll know. Then again, one of those reviews may be up before I post this video. I'm recording this kind of in the middle of the month, but I may not post it until later in the month. We'll see. I grabbed another Hardy Boys book, just one this month, book number 37, The Ghost at Skeleton Rock. I just, I like anything ghost themed as far as these stories go. Obviously, it's Hardy Boys, so it's probably not a real ghost, but just, slowly building up that collection over time. Then I grabbed, was it six books from the Redwall series. Now I grabbed a trade paperback copy, mass market paper. I think this is a mass market paperback. I don't know I know this. There's a difference in the size. If you see, I already had this copy of it, which I bought new at Barnes & Noble a couple months ago, because I wanted to revisit the series, but these were the ones that I had when I was younger, and so I saw this at the store. It was $2 at Savers, so I picked up, this copy as well, so that I can have all the ones on my shelf be, this version. Don't know what I'm going to do with this copy. I'm probably going to read this one and then just keep this one on the shelf, but so I snagged that one. The other ones I got were Marl Fox, The Long Patrol, Prose of Lutra, The Bellmaker, and Legend of Luke. The thrift store did have a few more books from the series, but they were not in good shape, so I decided to pass on them. These aren't super hard to find, so I'll pick them up eventually. Again, I'm planning to at least do Redwall for the channel. Whether I do the whole series or not, highly unlikely, because it's not really thematic with mysteries and horror and stuff like that. But we'll see. So it was nice. Happy to pick those up. I've read all of those books. There's only 2 books from the series that I haven't read. They were the last 2 that were published, which I think was Rogue Crew, and I don't remember what the title was for the last one. Up next, we've got another adult novel, which is Tom Clancy's Hunt for Red October. I've never read any Clancy books. This isn't really necessarily in like a mystery kind of sense. It's more of like a spy thriller. Then don't know if I'll do a review for it on the channel when I get around to reading it or not. I may. It doesn't necessarily fit with the channel theme, but I'm trying to be kind of diverse in what I'm reading here a little bit. Never read any Clancy books, like I said, but my dad was always a really big fan of Clancy. Pretty much got him like one of these books every year at Christmas. I remember when I was a kid. And so I wanted to give it a try. I've seen bits and pieces of the movie of Hunt for Red October, so I have kind of an idea of what it's about, but I've never read any of the books. I randomly picked this one up at the thrift store. Didn't even realize it was his first book, or the first book in this, his Jack Ryan series or whatever. So, yeah, and it's in really good shape. I don't know if it's a recently printed copy or not, but it's really nice. Looking forward to reading that one at some point. It's a very thick book compared to, the little kids' horror books that I usually read. This is almost 640 something pages. That's, oh boy. Up next, we have, so I got one Fear Street book this month, and unfortunately, it's not really a real copy. This is The Perfect Date. As you can see, it is not an original printing. This is some kind of a bootleg copy. Just, comparing it to, one of my other copies of the books. It's way too big. The texture's all off. The resolution on the picture's all off. It looks like it's a first edition, first print based on, the interior. It's clearly not an original Archway copy. it feels like an Amazon KDP printed book, and kind of the reason I know that is because it's got the same cover texture as the Crow Files books do. So yeah, I tried to return it on eBay, but they ended up just refunding me. They didn't want it back because it's a bootleg. I don't know. So yeah, that's the only one of those that I picked up. I did grab several books from another series here, which I may or may not kind of fall into the horror theme, but not really mystery or anything as far as I know. Never read these as a kid, but that's the Series of Unfortunate Events. Now I saw several of these at thrift store for just a couple bucks. I got book 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, and 13 here, and then I picked this one up at my regular used bookstore for a little bit more money. Obviously, you need to start with book 1 with this. I'm assuming that you kind of need to read these in order. Not sure. There's 13 books in the series that I'm aware of. Here's book 2, Reptile Room. Book 3, The Wide Window. Book 4, The Miserable Mill. And I had book 10, The Slippery Slope. This is the only soft cover one that I got. All the other ones were hardcovers. I had book 11, The Grim Grotto. This one was a library copy at some point. And then the last one was also a library copy at some point, and that's book 13, The End. Don't really know much about the series. I know that there were a couple of different movie or TV adaptations of it, and I know that it was supposed to be kind of creepy, scary series for kids. Yeah, like I said, I saw a bunch of those at the thrift store. Couldn't really pass it up, so get into checking that out at some point in time. And then last but not least, I did pick up 2 Goosebumps books from the few that I am still missing, and those were the 2 triple header books. So I got obviously triple header book 1. Oh, sorry, that's very shiny, reflective, and book 2. These are both first edition, first prints, as far as I can tell. I don't know if there were multiple print runs for these books or not. I know that the first book, based on looking at the backside of it, it came out just after I Live in Your Basement, and then this one came out just before I Am Your Evil Twin in Series 2000. So it's kind of the era where Goosebumps' popularity was waning. So like I said, I don't know if there were multiple prints of these. I know that I've seen multiple versions of these books that people have had. I don't know if those were just like different editions or if they were like different printings, but like second printing or third printing or something like that didn't have the fancy shiny stuff on it. But yeah, that's everything I picked up. I did actually, that's not true. I bought one other Goosebumps book that was Tales to Give You Goosebumps? Sorry, I'm tired. Tales to Give You Goosebumps, book number 4. And I ordered that a week ago, and it still hasn't been shipped. So I'm kind of irritated about that. Need to message the seller. It should have probably been here by now because I ordered it before I ordered these. But I guess I'll probably just maybe show that off in next month's book haul video. Assuming that I buy more books, which, let's be realistic, I probably will when I go to the thrift store, because, $2-3 for some of these books, like, you can't pass it up. I've got more books that I'm going to be able to read in the next, 4 or 5 years, probably, but, a couple bucks here and there, can't pass it up. Anyway, that's all I got for this month. Let me know what you guys think. Are there anything in here that you're particularly excited to see me read and review? Obviously, the main focus is still on middle grade horror and mystery. So, Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. I'm planning to do another Hardy Boys book soon. I've only done one so far, and I haven't done anything for Nancy Drew on the channel. The last Nancy Drew book I started was the 3rd book, and I started reading that with my wife almost a year ago today. I'm recording this on April 15th, so... And we got 3 chapters in and then put the book aside and haven't picked it back up since, so... Yeah, maybe we'll read that and then I'll do a review for it in the near future. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless you, and we will see you in the next video.